Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another patch notes. This is for the March 22nd patch, also known as version 28072. Now this is actually a fairly small patch, but big in impact. And why do I mean big in impact? Well, let's just jump right into it right away. Zenyatta has been changed fundamentally. And what do I mean by Zenyatta has been changed fundamentally? Well, now Zenyatta's Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord kind of tether to Zenyatta. They now automatically return if their target's out of line of sight for more than 3 seconds. This is a really big deal. This fundamentally changes how Zenyatta is played. It makes him a lot harder to find good positioning on. It makes him more exposed and have to do more things in the game. Now, in the background, I do have some gameplay footage, I believe from Nepal, if you want to see footage from the new map, and I'll go into the new map in a little bit, playing on Nepal as Zenyatta, and it's very interesting, actually, how the change works. Basically, it makes Zenyatta much more engaging to play as. You don't really want to just fire orb on someone who's going to the enemy backline and then hope that they can do work on that. You can do that, you can try and keep them peeking in line of sight and that kind of thing, but it's no longer this sort of fire and forget thing that you just sit at the back and then let someone go and deal all the damage in the world and never get punished for it. Orb of Discord also has the same effect, and this is actually super nice when you're playing against Zenyatta. One of the more frustrating aspects of the game was always Orb of Discord, because you just have it thrown on you, and if you're playing something like Pharah, something like Zarya as well, for example, you would just have to sit there and just hope that someone else walks out and takes the Orb of Discord for a moment. You were really cut down and really useless when that was thrown on you, so having a way to just get rid of it and shake it off, or forces Zenyatta to come towards you and try and position to kill you, means it's a lot more sort of to and fro and give and take. This change, I really like, and we're going to see probably some quite big changes in the pro scene as well. For those of you who don't know, the pro scene was been dominated by the so-called God comp, which involved using 2 Zenyatas to make 2 flankers, Genji and Genji or Genji and Tracer, really strong. Now, we did see IDDQD pull out a variant of the God comp, where they basically ran God comp with Torbjorn on offense on Gibraltar, for example, and then just tried to make a God comp using Symmetric Shields plus Torbjorn armor to give, 275 health Tracer and 270, well, more than that, 325 health Genji, I think. I believe Torbjorn still gives you 75 armor. We don't see that many Torbjorns. But yeah, I think that they need to do just 1 or 2 more tweaks. I've heard people saying, up the timer on the healing orb to about 5 seconds maybe. I think the heal per second also needs to go up as a result, just because Zenyatta is more healing people around him. Healing a bit more like Mercy, where she has to be a bit more involved in the fight. The really big difference I've noticed, especially in playing in matches where there's been a Zenyatta and a Mercy, is Zenyatta is much better at healing people who are far away. They're engaging in the front line, or they're just at distance. Zenyatta can just throw the healing orb on them from relative safety. He's still fairly safe, and doesn't have to be near the fight. Mercy, on the other hand, has to be in the fight, involved, and as a result is a bit more vulnerable, so it makes sense that she heals a lot more. Does this mean Zenyatta's bad? No, God no. Orb of Discord is still as powerful as it's always been, and still a huge impact on any tanky hero. Tanky heroes especially, they want to be in the front line anyway, so getting vision on them is not necessarily that hard. You're also still very good against Pharah, of course, because Pharah's going to be up in the air, so again, getting vision on the Pharah is not difficult. It's raised the skill cap on Zenyatta so much, and I'm so happy with the change. Now next, I'm just going to mention that there has been a massive user interface change as well. Also, we've seen a bunch of new skins and new things come in. I'm probably just going to skirt over the skins, because there's been a ton of them added in, but there's loads of resources you can check to go and have a look at them. Pretty much every single gaming website has done a look at them. I really like a few of them. I'm just going to bring them up. The Nevermore Reaper is absolutely beautiful looking in game. It's amazing, and his guns change as well to have these big crow beaks on the back of the shotgun. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I also really like the Jester Junkrat. That skin looks really good. I didn't think, I just saw a couple of pictures of it and thought, oh, it's just giving him a painted face and all that. But no, it really does change how he looks, and it's really cool. And I do like also Stinger Diva. I really like the bodysuit she has in that. I think it looks really cool. I like that she has a beehive haircut as well. I spotted that detail. That's beautiful. They've also changed portrait frames and leveling up as a system, so now you level from 1 to 100 and then it resets back down, but it changes your portrait frame. So I think at 100 it goes bronze, at 200 it goes bronze with a star, and imagine at 300 it might go silver, and then silver star, gold, gold star, so on, so on, so on. We don't know yet. I think there might be a few level 300 pluses out there, but I don't really care that much, so yeah. I actually kind of like that change as well. I think it will help in the long term when you see someone who is level 20 on your team and it takes a little bit longer to figure out, wait, are they level 20 as in they're just like level 20 new, or are they level 20 gold with a star, you know? And it will cut down on some of that later on when the game gets released. They've also added achievements to the game. They're kind of fun, some of them are kind of interesting. None of them are really that intrusive, I'd say. A lot of them are kind of built around playing properly, or at least experimenting and leading you to try and play correctly. So, for example, there's a Zarya one for getting 5 people in an ultimate. I think I saw a Pharah one, for example, for getting a kill by knocking someone off with concussive blast. This is all kind of healthy gameplay, right? You want to get as many people as you want with Zarya, you want to knock people off stuff with Pharah. It's very logical and very sensible. As long as the achievements stick to doing that kind of thing. I know that 1 or 2 people have had problems with, like, Lucio has an achievement, I think, for killing a lot of people, or killing like 2 or 3 people in a row when not touching the floor. But then you want to be wall skating as Lucio, like you want to do that in general. It's just a good way of evading a bit of damage. But yeah, they're all pretty organic. I think there's another one for like kill 3 Symmetra teleporters in a single game, which, you know, he's going to have them once in a blue moon, but if Symmetra gets 3 teleporters up, you want to kill all 3 of them anyway, especially if you're playing Tracer, Genji, something like that. So yeah, I'm fine with those. Not a really big impact. It's a good way to earn a few of the sprays, for example, get a few of the... Some of the cooler sprays are tied to those achievements. As long as you don't go too nuts trying to get them, you will pretty much probably unlock them all fairly organically as you play the game. They've also added a system change with joining and leaving games, so now you earn bonus experience for playing multiple games in a row. It's kind of nice. It just encourages people just to stay and keep playing and keep playing. It's always good. You get a bonus when you backfill into a match, so when, you know, you're playing into a game and it's already like... When 5 minutes have gone past and you join the game and you see the team's losing, what people used to do is just leave as well, and it caused a huge problem because people would just join and leave and join and leave and join and leave, and you never get a full team, and then you'd lose by default, basically, because you're 5 versus 6. This will hopefully encourage people just to stay in a bit longer. They've also added a leaver penalty, so when you're in an in-progress match, now whether that means, you know, the game is officially started, the gates are open and people are actually fighting, or whether it means, you know, when you're in hero picking or whatever and then you leave, it should be fine. I don't think you get a penalty for that. And the penalty is fairly minor. You get an experience drop for leaving games, and it will vanish when you just play a few games normally, unless you are leaving a lot of games, and apparently it will start stacking up quite a lot. Experience punishments, yeah, it kind of works for solo ladder, although I don't think people really care that much about experience. I don't know. It's just something that sort of I leave in the background and just ticks up pretty quickly, to be honest. So whether this will help stop leaving, I do know that it's more in your face now, especially when you have a leaver penalty. Just seeing that might prompt a few more people to stay in game, and it's nice to see that they're trying to experiment with ways of stopping people leaving. And the final thing I want to talk about is May got this buff a little bit ago, I think, well, in the last week patch, and Reinhardt's just got the same buff, which is the abilities will now ignore payloads with a line of sight checks. That's not all of them, just a bunch of them. So Reinhardt's Earth Shatter, for example, will go through a payload. That's huge for Reinhardt. That's really huge for Reinhardt, actually. It's a massive buff to him, and I really like it. It makes it so much easier to just find the right Earth Shatter, find a good place to put it, and then just use it to sort of help push people off a payload. It's pretty cool. That said, you know, one critical one, for example, is Diva's Bomb will not go through the payload, and that's a good change. It shouldn't. You should be able to find cover and sort of duck away from it if you can, because if it did go through the payload, you'd never be able to stand on the payload against Diva, basically, especially if they start running like 2 or 3 more Divas. Although Diva, in my opinion, needs a bit faster ultimate charge anyway. It seems a bit slow, so I'd like to see her get some more ult charge, but hey. The final thing I want to mention that's coming in this patch that's really sort of worth talking about is the sound options have got this new Dolby Atmos thing for headphones. And it's really good. Like, it is really, really nice as a sound driver. I don't know what magic's gone into it, but it's super, super nice. So I recommend when you play the beta, and I'm trying to record as much as I can. Like, I have it turned on, so you should be able to hear it maybe, but then I'm talking over it, so maybe not. And I was also doing like an audio encode afterwards, so sound quality tends to drop a tiny bit going from, you know, video to YouTube. But it is really nice. Like, it's definitely better than it was, and you don't notice that it's better than it was until you've got to try it. So when the game comes out, just try and notice that, hey, the sound is actually really nice. It's really easy to track people via their footsteps, and I should be doing that because that's a good thing to do. Anyway, I've been Josh, is one voice amongst many. This has been a patch roundup for the March 22nd patch, the Zenyatta patch. It's literally just pretty much a sort of a knife through Zenyatta, as well as a ton of cosmetic and UI changes to the game. And also let me know what skin you guys like from this pack. I think my vote has to go with the Nevermore Reaper. It's just, it is so cool. Like, that's gonna be a must-buy skin for pretty much everyone, I imagine. It's awesome. Toodles.
It's